Ladies and gentlemen, in life, we all encounter situations that test our patience, our tolerance, and even our sense of justice. People hurt us. They disappoint us. Sometimes they even betray us. The question we are often faced with is, how do we respond? Do we let our anger fester? Do we seek revenge, hold grudges, or let hate take root in our hearts? Let me tell you something about emotional freedom. It's one of the most liberating feelings you can have in life. People often talk about wanting freedom in many forms: freedom of speech, freedom of choice, financial freedom, and so on. But what about freedom from your own emotions, particularly the negative ones? Imagine waking up every day and not being weighed down by anger, resentment, or the thoughts of people who have wronged you. That's emotional freedom. When you reach that point, when you truly let go of the things that once hurt you, you realize that the greatest power you can have isn't just in how you respond to the world. It's in how you free yourself from carrying unnecessary emotional baggage. Think about it. How many times have we let someone's actions take control of how we feel? Maybe it was a friend who betrayed you, a partner who let you down, or someone who said something hurtful. It happens to everyone. We all get hurt. But what happens when we hold on to that hurt? It doesn't just stay in the past. It stays with us. It follows us around, leaking into our present and even our future. And here's the problem. The person who hurt you is probably going on with their life, completely unaware of how much space they're taking up in your head. Meanwhile, you're sitting there letting their actions control your emotions. That's not freedom. That's slavery to the past. Emotional freedom is a choice. It's the choice to stop giving those people the power to dictate how you feel. And this doesn't mean you forget what happened or let people walk all over you. It means you stop letting the past hurt you in the present. You stop allowing it to shape your mood, your behavior, your decisions, and your energy. You remove it from your mind, and in doing so, you reclaim the space to focus on your goals, your future, and your well-being. A lot of people think that holding on to hate or anger is a form of justice. They think that by staying angry at someone or plotting revenge, they're somehow making things right. But here's the truth. Holding on to anger or hate is like drinking poison and hoping the other person will get sick. It doesn't hurt them. It only hurts you. You are the one carrying around that emotional weight. You are the one wasting time, energy, and mental resources on someone who probably doesn't even care. So why do it? Let's be clear here. I'm not saying that the pain isn't real. I'm not saying that what someone did to you wasn't wrong. I'm not telling you to simply sweep it under the rug and pretend everything is fine. No, that's not what this is about. What I am saying is that you have the ability to release yourself from the grip of that pain. You don't have to keep reliving the past. You don't have to give those negative experiences a place in your life anymore. When you decide to emotionally free yourself, you are telling the world, and more importantly, yourself, that you are no longer going to be defined by other people's actions. Take a moment to think about it. Who are the people in your life right now, or in your past, that are holding space in your heart and mind without your permission? Who are the individuals who have left a scar or wound on you, and every time you think about them, that scar flares up again? I'll tell you something, those people, those situations, they are not the ones who should be in control of how you feel. You are the one who decides what stays and what goes. If someone wrongs you, you can choose to learn from the experience, but you don't have to keep carrying the emotional weight of their actions. That's not strength, that's weakness. Now you may be thinking, but it's not that easy, right? Of course it's not easy. If it were, everyone would be emotionally free and live without carrying around past hurt. But that's the point. Emotional freedom takes strength. It takes a conscious decision to let go. It takes the courage to accept what happened, acknowledge it, and then release it. There's no benefit to keeping something in your heart that only brings pain and negativity. What does holding on to that anger really give you in return? Does it change the past? Does it heal the wounds? No, it just keeps you stuck in the past, unable to move forward. When I talk about letting go of people, I'm not just talking about physically removing them from your life. I'm talking about mentally and emotionally letting go of their impact on you. You can cut someone off, but if you continue to carry the pain they caused you, then they're still in your life, aren't they? The goal here is to release them completely from your heart, from your thoughts, from your emotional space. You no longer allow their actions to hold any power over your happiness or your future. I know it's easier said than done. I know it's tough to let go of the people who hurt us. But let me tell you this, nothing good will come from holding on to those feelings. It might feel like you're protecting yourself, like you're standing your ground, but in reality, all you're doing is chaining yourself to the past. The moment you decide to let go, to release the grip of that anger or resentment, you unlock a world of possibility. You free yourself to focus on what really matters: your growth, your success, your peace. I'm telling you, once you experience emotional freedom, there's no going back. You'll look at situations differently. You'll realize that life is too short to waste on things and people who don't deserve your time. You'll recognize that you have the power to control your emotional state, and that no one, no matter how hurtful their actions were, has the right to dictate your inner peace. Emotional freedom doesn't mean you won't feel hurt anymore. It doesn't mean you won't have difficult moments or face challenges. What it means is that you will no longer let those things control your life. You will no longer be held hostage by the actions of others. Instead, you will have the strength to rise above it, to focus on your own journey, and to move forward with a clear mind and an open heart. So take the first step today. Let go of the things that no longer serve you. Delete the people and the emotions that only weigh you down. Free yourself from the past and make space for the future. The moment you do that, you'll realize just how powerful you truly are. You'll realize that no one can hold you back, not even your own emotional baggage. Let it go and watch yourself rise. Holding grudges, it's something almost all of us have done at some point in our lives. And when you're wronged, it feels like you have every right to hang on to that hurt. It seems almost natural to hold on to it, to think that by doing so you're somehow protecting yourself. After all, if you hold a grudge, you're keeping the memory of the wrong alive, right? You're reminding yourself to be careful, to not trust again. But here's the truth. Holding a grudge doesn't protect you, it traps you. It doesn't guard you from future pain. It keeps you tied to the past, and in doing so prevents you from living fully in the present. Let me break this down for you. A grudge is like carrying a heavy weight around every single day. You think that by holding on to this weight, you're somehow making sure that the person who hurt you gets what's coming to them. But in reality, the only person you're hurting is yourself. You're carrying around this extra load of anger, bitterness, and resentment, while the person who wronged you has probably moved on with their life. They're not losing sleep over it, and they're certainly not thinking about how they've wronged you. But you're letting it eat away at you piece by piece. Every time you think about that person, every time you revisit the wrong they did, you feel that weight grow heavier. But it's all in your mind, it's all in your hands. You need to understand that holding a grudge doesn't change the past. It doesn't bring you any closer to justice. In fact, it does the opposite. It keeps you tethered to something you can't control, something that has already happened and is gone. That's the trap. The longer you hold on to it, the longer you allow it to dictate your actions and thoughts, the longer you keep your life from moving forward. You see, the more you hold on to that grudge, the more you invest your energy into it. Every bit of anger you hold on to takes away from your own well-being. Every ounce of frustration, every bit of bitterness you carry, robs you of your own peace and joy. It's like trying to walk forward while carrying a backpack full of rocks. You can't go very far, and you can't go very fast. Here's the hard truth. The more you hold on to a grudge, the more you're giving that person power over you. Think about that for a second. They wronged you, and now you're allowing their actions to control how you feel day after day. You're allowing them to remain relevant in your life, even if they're not physically present. It's a form of weakness, not strength. Real strength is the ability to forgive, to let go, and to move forward without letting others dictate how you feel. It's the ability to take back control over your life and not allow anyone to take up precious mental space in your head. And let's be honest here. How many times have you revisited that grudge in your mind, only to realize that it's not really serving you? When you're angry at someone, when you hold on to that negative emotion, it affects everything: your mindset, your attitude, your health, and the people around you. It clouds your judgment and your ability to enjoy the present. But when you let go of that grudge, when you free yourself from the need to stay angry, something incredible happens. You feel lighter, you feel free, you realize how much energy you've been wasting, and how much more of that energy you could be putting into things that actually matter to you: your work, your personal growth, your relationships, and your happiness. What's even more important is that letting go of grudges opens up the door to growth. When you release the anger and resentment, you create space for yourself to heal. You stop being defined by the wrongs others have done to you. You stop letting their actions write the story of your life. Instead, you take back control and start writing your own story, one where you are no longer a victim of the past, but a conqueror of your own future. This is how you rise above it. This is how you break free from the cycle of pain. And this is how you move forward without looking. Now, some might say, but what if they don't deserve forgiveness? What if what they did was unforgivable? Well, I'll tell you this. Holding a grudge doesn't mean you're excusing their behavior. It doesn't mean you're saying what they did was okay. Forgiveness doesn't imply that what happened is right. It simply means that you're not going to let it define you anymore. you're not going to let it ruin your present or your future. Forgiving them doesn't mean you forget what they did, but it means you stop allowing them to take up space in your heart and mind. And that, my friends, is freedom. Forgiveness is a choice you make for yourself, not for the person who wronged you. It's about deciding that your peace is more important than holding on to a grudge. It's about choosing to let go of the negative energy that drags you down. And once you do that, you'll realize that holding grudges isn't the path to justice. It's the path to self-sabotage. You're not hurting the person who wronged you by staying angry. You're only hurting yourself by keeping that anger alive. People often get caught up in the idea that by holding a grudge, they're somehow getting back at the other person. They think that by staying angry or holding on to the pain, they're punishing the one who hurt them. But that's not how it works. The truth is, the only person who truly suffers is the one who refuses to let go. When you let go of the grudge, you stop allowing the past to control. You stop allowing it to influence how you live your life. You get back the energy, the mental clarity, and the peace that you deserve. So here's what I want you to understand. Holding a grudge is a waste of time. It's a waste of your precious energy. It keeps you stuck in a loop of negativity, bitterness, and pain. And the worst part is, it keeps you from moving forward. The key to moving forward is it's to recognize that your future is more important than the mistakes of your past, and that the only person you're truly hurting by holding on to that grudge is yourself. Let it go, release that burden, and most importantly, free yourself from the emotional chains that have been holding you back. The moment you let go of the grudge, you reclaim your power. You stop being defined by the actions of others, and you start living on your own terms. It's not easy, but it's worth it. And when you finally let go, you'll realize how much space and energy you were wasting, and how much more room there is for happiness, peace, and growth. So choose to forgive, choose to move on, and choose to live your life without the weight of the past holding you. Let it go, and watch how your life transforms. There's something powerful in choosing peace. In a world that often promotes conflict, drama, and revenge, opting for peace might seem like a weak move to some, but I'll tell you right now, it's the most powerful choice you can make. The truth is, you don't need to fight every battle, and you don't need to prove yourself to everyone who comes your way. The real strength lies in the ability to stay calm, composed, and at peace, regardless of the chaos or conflict around you. It's about choosing to rise above, not stooping to the level of negativity that others throw at you. You see, conflict is easy. Anyone can get caught up in it. It's easy to fire back at someone who's wronged you, to engage in that back and forth argument, or to feel like you need to defend your honor. But what does that really get you? Does it bring you peace? Does it help you grow? No, it just keeps you stuck in the same toxic cycle of confrontation, frustration, and wasted energy. Conflict doesn't lead to growth. It leads to more stress, more problems, and more negativity. And when you keep engaging in conflict, you're simply allowing other people's drama to control your life. They dictate your emotions, they dictate your responses, and they keep you in a constant state of tension. Now, don't get me wrong, standing up for yourself, protecting your boundaries, and addressing issues that need attention are all important. But not every situation deserves your emotional energy. Not every person who challenges you or disrespects you deserves your time. Sometimes the most powerful response is no response at all. When you choose peace, you are deciding that your mental and emotional health are more important than proving a point or getting the last word. It's about protecting your own sense of calm, regardless of the noise around you. Think about it. How many times have you gotten involved in unnecessary drama or conflicts, only to find that after all that energy you invested, nothing actually changed? The person you argued with didn't suddenly respect you more. The situation didn't improve. And in the end, all you've done is burn yourself out, emotionally and mentally. Now imagine for a second how much better it would have felt if you had just walked away from the situation, kept your peace, and moved on with your life. By choosing peace, you're telling the world that you will no longer allow other people to drag you into their mess. You're telling them that your happiness, your energy, and your time are more valuable than getting caught up in things that don't matter. When you choose peace, you're also making a commitment to yourself. You're saying that you won't let the negative behaviors of others dictate your actions. People will always try to provoke you, to test your patience, or to pull you into their own drama, but you don't have to fall for it. You have control over how you respond. You can either engage and get sucked into their negativity, or you can choose to walk away, stay calm, and keep your energy to yourself. That's power. True strength is in the ability to stay composed and grounded, no matter what chaos is swirling around you. It's about standing firm in your peace
and not allowing others to shake it. Peace is also the ultimate form of self-care. Let me tell you, if you don't choose peace, if you don't protect your own sense of calm, you're setting yourself up for burn. Life is already stressful enough, without adding unnecessary drama to the mix. Constant conflict takes a toll on your mental health, your physical health, and your overall happiness. It drains your energy and creates an environment of negativity that you can't escape from. But when you prioritize peace, you create a sanctuary for yourself. You create a space where you can think clearly, make better decisions, and focus on what truly matters: your goals, your relationships, and your growth. The problem is that we've been conditioned to believe that standing up for ourselves means engaging in conflict, that avoiding confrontation is a sign of weakness. But that's simply not true. Real strength comes from choosing not to fight every battle. It comes from knowing when to let things go, when to walk away, and when to preserve your own energy. Choosing peace doesn't make you weak. It makes you wise. It takes a lot more strength to ignore the petty arguments, the insults, or the challenges that come your way than it does to jump into every fight. Here's another thing to consider. When you choose peace, you stop giving power to the people who want to provoke you. Think about it. When someone is trying to get under your skin, when they're trying to make you angry or upset, they're essentially trying to control your emotions. But by choosing peace, you take that power back. You refuse to let their actions dictate your emotional state. You stay calm and collected, and in doing so, you maintain control over yourself and the situation. That's a form of strength that most people can't even comprehend. You don't need to prove anything to anyone, and you certainly don't need to let anyone control how you feel. And I know there will be people who will try to tell you that choosing peace means you're letting people walk all over you, or that you're too soft. But those people are missing the point entirely. Choosing peace doesn't mean being passive or letting others take advantage of you. It means you're prioritizing your emotional well-being over petty arguments. It means that you're choosing to rise above, to stay calm, and to focus on what really matters. It means that you understand your worth and your energy are far too valuable to waste on things that don't serve your growth. In fact, choosing peace is often the most powerful form of rebellion you can engage in. It's rebellious in a world where everyone seems to be fighting, where drama and conflict are glorified, and where people are encouraged to argue and engage in chaos. Choosing peace in the face of that chaos is a radical act of self-care and self-control. It's about refusing to get sucked into a world of negativity and drama, and instead, carving out a space where you can thrive without the weight of constant conflict. When you make the choice to prioritize peace, you open the door to so many possibilities. You open yourself up to clearer thinking, better decision-making, and stronger relationships. You stop wasting energy on things that don't matter, and you start focusing on what truly brings value to your life. Peace isn't just the absence of conflict, it's the presence of calm, clarity, and purpose. It's about living in a way that aligns with your highest self and your highest potential. So next time you're faced with a conflict, a person trying to drag you into their drama, or a situation that's simply not worth your time, remember this: you don't have to fight every battle. You don't have to respond to every provocation. You don't need to prove anything to anyone. The greatest strength lies in choosing peace. When you choose peace, you are taking control of your life. You are protecting your energy, and you are choosing to live on your own terms. Protect your peace. That's your power.
Let me tell you something that a lot of people don't understand. The world doesn't owe you anything. You hear people complain all the time about what they deserve, what's unfair, or how life isn't giving them a fair shot. They think the world is supposed to hand them what they want just because they exist. But here's the truth: it doesn't work like that. The world doesn't owe you a thing. If you want something, you have to go out and get it. You can't sit around and wait for life to just give it to you, because it won't. Life is what you make of it. If you want success, happiness, and fulfillment, you have to take responsibility for your own journey. No one is coming to save you, and no one is going to hand you anything on a silver platter. You have to earn it. Here's where the problem lies. Too many people think that they're entitled to things simply because they show up. They expect that because they've worked hard or they've had a rough time, they should automatically get what they want. And when they don't, they get frustrated. They get angry. They start blaming other people, blaming their circumstances, blaming the system, and sometimes even blaming the universe. But in reality, it's no one else's responsibility to hand you success or happiness. You have to create those things for yourself. The first step in creating the life you want is to take full responsibility for it. And I mean full responsibility. Not just the easy parts, not just the things that come naturally or the things you're good at. I'm talking about taking responsibility for every single aspect of your life. That means owning up to your mistakes, learning from them, and realizing that you have the power to change. Stop blaming others for where you are. Stop waiting for someone else to step in and fix things for you. You can do it. You just have to believe that you're the one who's in charge of your future, not anyone else. Now, some of you might be thinking, but it's not fair. I worked hard and I still didn't get what I wanted. Let me tell you, life is not always fair. Life doesn't care about what you think you deserve. Life will give you what you earn, and it will give you the lessons you need to grow. It doesn't care how much you think you've sacrificed or how hard you've worked. What matters is how you respond to the challenge. What matters is how you handle adversity, how you adapt, and how you keep moving forward even when things don't go your way. If you constantly focus on what you deserve, you'll only get stuck in frustration. If you think that the world owes you something, you'll spend your life feeling like a victim. But when you shift your mindset and start thinking that nothing is owed to you, you become powerful. You realize that you're in control of your future. You realize that you have the power to create your own opportunities, your own success, and your own happiness. Think about it, there are millions of people who start with nothing and achieve great things. Not because they're lucky, but because they take responsibility. They don't sit around complaining about how unfair life is. They get to work. They put in the effort. They make their own opportunities. They take control of their circumstances instead of letting their circumstances control them. And that's what you need to do too. You have to stop waiting for someone else to give you the things you want. You have to take charge of your own destiny. The sooner you realize that you are the one in control, the sooner you'll stop being frustrated by things you can't control and start focusing on the things you can. There's another part to this: to stop looking for validation from others. We live in a world that's obsessed with approval. Everyone's looking for the next like, the next comment, the next compliment to feel good about themselves. But that's not how you build real self-worth. You build self-worth by recognizing that you don't need anyone else's approval to succeed. You build self-worth by knowing that the only person whose opinion truly matters is your own. If you're constantly seeking validation from others, you're never going to feel truly fulfilled. You'll be constantly looking for external sources to fill you up, but the truth is that feeling is fleeting. You have to validate yourself. You have to believe in yourself. You have to know that you're enough, regardless of what anyone else thinks. No one's going to hand you success. No one's going to validate your every move or praise you for doing what you're supposed to do, and that's okay. The reality is, if you want to live a life of purpose and fulfillment, you can't depend on other people's opinions or approval. You have to validate your own existence, your own achievements, and your own progress. Your success, your journey is yours to define, not anyone else's. If you can't find validation within yourself, you'll be forever chasing something external that will never truly satisfy you. And here's another thing to consider. If you want something in life, you have to be willing to work for it. Nothing worth having comes easy. It's not going to be handed to you on a silver platter. There's no magic formula, no shortcut. The key to success is simple: consistency, hard work, and a relentless pursuit of your goals. The world doesn't owe you success, but it will reward you for the effort you put in. If you're willing to put in the work, to push through the difficult times, and to keep going even when it feels like you're getting nowhere, eventually you will reach your destination. It's not about luck or waiting for the stars to align. It's about putting in the time, the effort, and the discipline every single day, no matter how tough it gets. You don't need anyone's permission to be successful. You don't need anyone to give you a seat at the table. If you want to sit at the table, you have to build it yourself. If you want the life you've always dreamed of, you have to create it. The world doesn't owe you anything, but it will respond to your efforts. Life doesn't care about what you think you deserve, but it will reward the ones who take responsibility and put in the work. You need to stop waiting for life to hand you anything. Take control. Create your own opportunities. Build your own future. You owe it to yourself to go after what you want, to work for it, and to make it happen. Stop looking around for someone to give you permission or a reason to succeed. The only reason you need is that you want it. That's enough. Take control of your life. Be relentless. The world doesn't owe you anything, but it will give you everything you work for. There's something incredibly liberating about knowing when to walk away. We often think we need to stay in situations, relationships, or jobs just because we've invested time and energy into them. We feel this sense of obligation to stick it out, to give it our all, even when deep down we know it's no longer serving us. The truth is, sometimes the best thing you can do for yourself is to simply walk away. People often confuse this with giving up, but it's not about giving up. It's about understanding that you're worthy of more than what you're currently getting. It's about realizing that your time, your energy, and your mental peace are precious, and if something or someone is draining them without bringing anything positive in return, it's okay to let go. It's okay to walk away. You don't have to be stuck in toxic situations or relationships just because you've invested in them. In fact, the longer you stay in situations that aren't right for you, the more damage you're doing to yourself. Let's talk about relationships for a moment. Friendships, romantic relationships, family connections. People often get stuck in these because they're afraid of what will happen if they let go. They've put in years or maybe decades, and the thought of walking away feels impossible. But let me tell you something, no matter how long you've been involved with someone or something, if it's hurting you, if it's draining you, if it's holding you back from becoming the best version of yourself, then it's time to move on.
You don't owe anyone your time or your energy, especially if they're not giving you the respect, love, or support you deserve in return. Staying in those situations, hoping they'll change or get better, is just a waste of your life. There's this idea that we should fight for every relationship, that we should work through everything, no matter how much it costs us. But that's not always the case. Sometimes the healthiest thing you can do is to acknowledge that a relationship has run its course and that it's okay to walk away. It's not about quitting, it's about understanding that you deserve more, and that there's a whole world out there filled with people and opportunities that align better with who you are and who you want to become. It takes strength to walk away from something that's not working. It takes courage to say, this is no longer right for me, and then to actually act on it. And that's the key here. Action. It's one thing to recognize that something isn't serving you, but it's another thing entirely to take the steps to walk away. It's easy to keep telling yourself that you'll fix things, that you'll make it work, or that things will improve. But the reality is that if something isn't working, no amount of effort from you will change it. If someone isn't valuing you, if a situation isn't fulfilling you, you can't force it to be something it's not. Walking away isn't a sign of weakness, it's a sign of strength. It shows that you value yourself enough to stop settling for less than what you deserve. Walking away doesn't just apply to relationships, it applies to jobs, commitments, or anything else that's draining your energy. How many people stay in jobs they hate simply because they're afraid of change? How many people stay in toxic work environments because they feel stuck, like they don't have a choice? But the truth is, you always have a choice. If something is holding you back, draining you, or causing you unnecessary stress, it's time to reassess whether it's worth staying. And sometimes the answer is no, it's not worth it. You might tell yourself that walking away would mean failure, that it would mean admitting defeat. But it's not about failure, it's about growth. It's about realizing that you have the power to move on and find something that truly aligns with your goals and values. Every time you walk away from something that isn't right for you, you make space for something better. It's about understanding that your future is too important to waste in a situation that doesn't serve your highest potential. Every step away from something that's holding you back is a step toward your own personal growth. And let's not forget the fear factor. Walking away is often accompanied by fear. The fear of the unknown, the fear of being judged, the fear of what people will think. But here's the thing, the people who judge you for walking away are the same people who are too afraid to do it themselves. They'll tell you that you're making a mistake, that you should stick it out, that you shouldn't give up. But what they don't understand is that walking away takes more courage than staying. It takes guts to admit that something isn't right for you and to take action. People will always have something to say, especially when you make a decision that goes against the grain. But at the end of the day, the only opinion that matters is yours. You're the one living your life. You're the one who has to deal with the consequences of staying in a situation that doesn't serve you. So don't let fear or judgment hold you back from making the best decision for yourself. Walking away doesn't mean you're weak. It means you're strong enough to choose yourself. You're strong enough to recognize that you deserve better, and you're brave enough to go after it. Another thing to keep in mind is that walking away can often be the best thing for the other person or situation as well. Staying in something that isn't working can create resentment, frustration, and more tension. It's not only bad for you, it's bad for them too. Walking away allows both parties to move on, to heal, and to grow. It's not just an act of self-respect, it's an act of respect for the other person and their own journey. You might think that staying is somehow helping them, but in reality it's just prolonging the inevitable. Eventually, one of you is going to walk away, so why not do it sooner rather than later? Why not give both of you the opportunity to move forward and start fresh? Let me make this clear. Walking away is not about giving up. It's about choosing to move towards something better. It's about protecting your peace, your energy, and your future. It's about recognizing when something no longer aligns with who you are or where you're going and making the conscious decision to step away from it. Walking away isn't easy, but it's necessary. And when you do it, you'll realize that you're not walking away from a failure. You're walking toward the next chapter of your life, one that's filled with more opportunities, growth, and fulfillment. Choose what's right for you. If it's time to walk away, don't hesitate. Trust yourself and your decision. You deserve a life filled with peace, purpose, and progress. And sometimes walking away is the first step in making that happen.